Let's bring you on screen. Good evening, Miss Carla. How are you?
Hi, Kristina. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Your room looks so yellow and happy. I'm a little jealous, even though I've got my sparkles.
Well, I'm jealous of your sparkles, so we're even. No, but thank you so much for having me, and thanks people for joining me tonight. I really appreciate the time, and I'm a longtime child advocate, as Kristina mentioned, author of School's Udemy series. I worked to help launch the PBS Kids brand a long time ago.
Wow.
And all of this is really close to my heart. I've had a lot of personal experience with this, and also have really delved into the research and the best practices that I want to share with you tonight. One of the things I'm going to be looking at and sharing with you is recognizing stress in children, which, as we know, has experienced an uptick with this pandemic, and then what we can do to alleviate it. And interestingly enough, what we can do to alleviate it, those activities actually help prepare a child for school. So they kind of go hand in hand. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, I'm going to hop off, Carla, so you can have the whole screen, but I'm so excited to hear what you have to say. And anyone that has questions, you can drop those in the comments, and I'll come back on and ask them at the end for you. So Carla, take it away, and I'm going to get out of your way.
Thanks, Kristina. So we know that our kids have lost substantial learning time due to this pandemic, unfortunately. So first, let's understand how young children exhibit stress, because these are stressful times for all of us, and they cannot articulate their stress like we can. So I'll be citing research from two doctors from the Department of Psychiatry at Louisiana State University, Dr. Joy Osofsky and Dr. Howard Osofsky, and also from an organization called 0 to 3. So during this time of anxiety, I don't know if any of you have seen your children become more clingy, or perhaps more aggressive, or pull away, or revert to a younger age where they lose their potty training, want to wear diapers, or want to go back to using a bottle, for example. And according to leading child psychologists, this is typical behavior. So we can take some comfort in that, that it's not atypical behavior. So what the psychologists recommend is that we cut them a break in discipline. They're not being bad, they're just being stressed like we are. They're stressed out. So we can calmly remind them of what our expectations are of them, so we're not totally letting them off the hook, but we're giving them a little more leeway, and we're pulling back on the discipline. So what can we do to ease our children's anxiety? First, let's remember that children absorb our anxiety. So we have to practice self-care. We're the foundation of our children, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And if the foundation is broken, the whole house tumbles down. So we have to take that time to take care of ourselves. And I know it's hard. With everything else going on, it's hard, but we're doing it for our kids. Second, to the best of our ability, let's try to keep a routine. And I know it's hard. I mean, we're all working. Again, we're doing the best we can. But to the best of our abilities, let's try to keep a routine of bedtime, of meal times, and of playtime. Playtime with siblings, or if it's an only child, playtime with you, the parent or the caregiver. Adjusting these routines now, or having the child adjust to a routine now, will help them when they enter school, because the entire school day is built around a routine. And in fact, as many of you know who've been inside a preschool or a kindergarten, they actually have a chart of each activity, and the kids really take a lot of ownership and pride in knowing what comes next during the day. They also find comfort in knowing what comes next. Third, let's be emotionally available. And personally, this is one of my hardest struggles, is to do this. Put this down for a little bit and take some time and talk to my kid. She doesn't understand why I may not be available at a particular time, but all she understands is how it makes her feel. It makes her feel pretty crummy. So that's something that I try to keep in mind. There are certain activities that I do with my daughter, and you can do what works for you, but some examples are puzzles. We do sidewalk chalk, we do baking, we dance to our favorite music. These are all activities that contribute to brain development and preparation for school. Now, my daughter's older, but these activities will help a younger child as well. You can practice colors with sidewalk chalk, math with baking, counting in how many tablespoonfuls of flour go into a pie batter, for example. With dancing, you're using your gross motor skills. Gross motor skills involve all of your muscles and your core. So running, climbing, those kinds of activities, super important to start developing now, or not just start developing now, because obviously they've been, hopefully they've been developed, but to continue to enhance these skills. Another thing I like to talk about is building blocks, or any sort of objects you can use to pile on top of each other, and then inevitably the child is going to knock them down, and that teaches them about the law of gravity. Dramatic play. So we've all seen kids when they dress up as a doctor or a firefighter or a vet. And the reason this is so important, particularly when they are playing this with other children in school, is that it teaches them how to collaborate and solve a common problem. So this patient's sick, how are we going to make him better? First, it's your turn, doctor, to work on him. Then it's your turn, nurse, to work on him. They learn how to collaborate. They learn how to take turns. And they learn how to solve problems as a team. These are life skills. And they start now. Fourth, while we may be doing our best, as I'm sure we are, as responsible parents, to shield our children from the media, they are super smart. Our kids are super smart. And they know that something really bad is going on. And at some point, they may ask us, well, why can't I see my friend John? Or why can't I see my friend Beth? And my approach to that is tell the truth, but in child-friendly and appropriate terms. So, simple answer. There is a rule now that families need to stay together to stay healthy. That's why we cannot see your friend John at this point. We are doing this so that we can stay healthy and that John and his family can stay healthy, period. You don't need to go into any more of a discussion. And so let me give you a little background on School is New to Me, my School is New to Me book series, and how it relates to all of this. I actually wrote the book because my daughter suffered from severe separation anxiety. I had no idea how to deal with it. It was very difficult to see her suffer and have to leave her behind, and then, like have a meeting with my boss or something. And meanwhile, I'm thinking my child bawling her eyes out at school, although I knew that, preschool and kindergarten are wonderful opportunities. It was just a matter of trying to